Hello everybody and welcome back to Madden 2002 in the Buffalo Bills franchise mode, featuring the loud humming of my PlayStation 2 because it is time for more off-season festivities, and I am back here recording live once again following our loss in the wildcard round. I just realized I was spoiling the division round. Sorry guys, but we're going to go over it in a second, so it's fine. But yeah, here's the rest of the wildcard round as I showed at the end of the last video, of course. A lot of 8-8 teams made it this year for some reason. Well, not a lot, just 3 of us I think, but that's a lot I feel. That's, I mean, that's kind of a lot, considering how hard it is to win a division at 8-8. But the Cowboys managed to do it. Huge turnaround for them in year number 2, and they even won a playoff game, something that we could not do. And then the Rams, the other 8-8 division winner, unfortunately could not make it out of the wild card round against a good Vikings squad. So the division round goes as follows here. The Broncos hang on against the Chargers in a tough divisional matchup in Denver in the divisional round. The Buccaneers handle the Cowboys easily. The Ravens and Colts have quite the shootout. This is what the kind of game that was going to require if you were going to beat the Colts in this playoffs, man, as we can attest to in 2 games this season against them. And then the Vikings just barely inch out the Bears here. Another division rivalry in the divisional round. I had to choke on it to get it out. Pause. And then the conference championship, the Broncos absolutely silence the Ravens defensively, man, and handle them in the AFC Championship. And then the Buccaneers just inch out the Vikings, which means your Super Bowl is a rematch from last season. The Buccaneers and Broncos go back-to-back, and the Broncos managed to win their 2nd straight Super Bowl, man. So back-to-back Super Bowls in this sim for the Broncos. So if you're a Broncos fan, you were eating good, man. You were eating very, very well. So that is good for them. But now I guess we'll look through the rest of the standings and all the stats and whatnot. Since we made it to the playoffs, we didn't look at the standings. So final standings of the regular season, at least. The Broncos, of course, are your top seed. The Ravens and Jaguars also up here. Your 4 division seeds are the Broncos, Ravens, Jags, and then, of course, us down here. And then the Colts and Chargers were your wild cards. No teams really got left out in the AFC. I guess the Raiders maybe, but, they finished 500. They weren't even close to the Chargers, who would have been 2nd place in their own division. So the Raiders, yeah, definitely, yeah, no one really, so it's bad that we made it at 8-8, like, we're not a good team, but, like, no one else really was, like, fighting for a spot. It's not like last year with the Lions, I think, were 9-7, and they got overlooked because the Eagles took that last, like, division spot, but either way, the Central was loaded last year in the NFC, but now it's not an issue anymore. It's not a problem. The Dolphins finished 7-9. We just inched them out. They lost their last game in Week 17, so it didn't really matter. And then the Steelers, of course, here at 7-9, the Jets at 7-9, the Bengals at 7. Good Lord, look at this, man. There's a whole sandwich of 7-9 teams here right now, and some of these teams weren't all that good last year. I think the Bengals only improved by like a game, But anyway, the Chiefs here at 6-10, the Patriots at 6-10, the Texans in their first season go 5-11. Not the worst team in the AFC. That title goes to the Browns, who only won 2 games. So we might be picking some things from the Browns as far as trades go, because they might have a lot to offer us. And then the NFC here, the Buccaneers, of course, take the top seed 11-5. The Bears win the NFC North in its first year at 10-6. The Vikings and Falcons are your wild cards at 9-7 each. That's Vic's rookie season, because Chris Chandler did retire last season, so that's Vic's rookie season, man. Got him at 9-7 in the playoffs. And then the Cowboys and Rams take the last 2 divisional spots at 8-8. I guess tiebreakers is what kind of knocked out the Niners, because the Niners could have potentially won the West. Same with the Seahawks. Seahawks also went 8-8 in the West here. The Lions, I guess, didn't really have much of a chance here at 8-8 either. And then the Saints. Oh my God! So the NFC's got to look at this. Look how many 8-8 teams there are. I guess the Redskins, they tied a game, so that makes it weird here, but with 7 wins. But look at this, man. Look at this sandwich of 8-8 teams, dude. This is ridiculous. I don't think we'll get this lucky again in the sim, so we better take advantage of it while we can, because I don't think we'll get another year with all these 8-8 squads, all these mid-range teams. Man, the NFL's just mid this year, I guess. So the Skins and the Giants at 7-9 here, or rather 7-8-1 and 7-9. The Cardinals go 6-10, which I think is an improvement from last year. I think they were the worst team in the NFL last year. The Panthers have another terrible season here at 3-12-1. Actually, no, they were good last year. Remember that? And then they kind of torpedoed off, I think. But anyway, it didn't end well for them. So kind of a weird kind of year. A very, very odd year. So now we're going to look at we need to look at player stats so I can find it. Yeah, here we go. Player stats. Here we go. Okay, so Dilfer, man. Dilfer ended up having a pretty solid year, dude. Getting more yards than last year. I mean, this is a career year for him. It was such a slow burn for Dilfer. I thought that things were just, not working out, but he ends up having his best season, like ever. It's his best season. So in a contract year, I mean, that's definitely the kind of year that you needed. But again, I don't think it's wrong to say that it was slow. Like, he picked this up in the second half of the year. We need him all year, man. I need you to be playing like this all year. You guys heard the stats I mentioned with Peyton Manning in the playoffs. Like, I need something like that, and Dilfer I don't think is capable of that. So we'll have a decision at quarterback. Unfortunately, I think I'm going to have to make that decision before I even have a chance to look at the draft or look at free agency. So I don't like that because Dilfer still might be the best option that we can even have. So I could take a huge risk of letting Dilfer walk in free agency in the re-signing phase, and then we just completely whiff on finding a quarterback. We might have to field Achilles Smith next year. You know what I mean? And like that's a huge step down. Like we can't go that step backwards. So it's something we're gonna have to look at, man. Something we're gonna have to look at. Sammy Morris, dude, this guy is going to fetch a lot of money. I don't know how much money he's going to require. I don't know how much money we'll have to give him, but after a year like this, dude, yeah, he's going to get a lot of money. Travis Henry also kind of did something this year. I mean, it's not like great, but like 5 touchdowns compared to how little we used him last year. That's pretty awesome. Yeah, dude, 1,700 yards. Goodness gracious. These are OJ numbers. I don't know if these are records. I think OJ still holds them for both of those, but for the Bills, I mean. But, I mean, still. Westbrook and Moulds tie in receptions here, but Westbrook a little bit more efficient here. Averages about a half a yard more. Both have 6 touchdowns, both over that 900-yard threshold. Westbrook with about 27 or so more yards. And then it's a fall-off to Bill Schroeder here, but it looks like 2 of our free agent receivers here, our top 3 guys, were the top 3 receivers. So, again, a real quarterback, I think, is getting a lot more out of these guys. So that's kind of what I'm hoping for, what I'm looking at. We also have a good tight end, Remersma, so he needs to be involved a lot more, especially in the touchdown category. Like, it's great that he's gotten a lot of yards the last couple seasons, you know, like, he's been consistent over 300 for, like, the last 4 years, so that's good. But I want to see a little bit more, and I think a better quarterback could do that. But that's really all there is in receiving, man, before we get our running back. You know, like, we're down here. Peerless Price didn't have that great a year, but he's just kind of buried, so there might be a decision to make on Peerless Price. You know, and then we have McDaniel, of course, down here as well. And then McDonald, who I signed in the first season, I mean, I don't even think he got a catch this year. So that was just some depth that I signed in year 1, and he's not even being used anymore. So John Fina, I mean, the O-line situation's weird because of how we run the sim and stuff like that. I don't think it's going to work that well. It doesn't look like our rookies did very well either this year, so yeah, I don't know how that's going to affect them, but and defensively, Henry Jones, man, leading the team in tackles with 73. Pretty on brand with where he's been consistently in the last few seasons here of his career. This might be his last year, just period. We're not entirely sure. I'm not entirely sure. Tackles for loss here, Keith Newman leading the team with 9. Sam Cord is behind him at 7 with about 20 more tackles than Keith Newman. And then we'll look at the sack leader, Sam Cord leading with 5, and then Pat Williams is behind him with 4. So and Trevor Jackson had 3 of them. We only had 8 tackles on the year. Goodness gracious, our rookies did not perform that well. The team was better, but they just individually did not perform that well. And in general, our defense was not generating a lot of turnovers, but again, I think that's largely just because of the sim. Oops. Hit the wrong team. And then Steve Christie only missed 1 field goal, and I think that 1 field goal he missed was actually like really important. I think we needed him to make that field goal, if I remember correctly. So tough, but still, I mean, the guy's kicking 93%. I think he was 100% last year, so you can't be that mad about it. He's doing great. But yeah, so I will look at stat rankings, but I don't think, again, I don't think they're really all that fair because of how we run our sim. So we'll look at Pro Bowlers here and see. So, of course, Sammy Morris is a Pro Bowl running back here. He should at least win some awards. He should have got some consideration last year and was kind of overlooked in a lot of categories, but he should have, at the very least, got that much. So, but he is a Pro Bowler. So, and then I think that's probably about all. I don't know if we have another one. Steve Christie probably made it again, which, you know, that is what it is, but I don't think anyone else probably made it. Yeah, Steve Christie's here. That's about it. So we only have 2 Pro Bowlers. Not great, but we'll see. We'll look at our yearly awards now. Dante Culpepper wins NFL MVP. Interesting. Peyton Manning had a much better season. I have no idea how he got overlooked. I'm genuinely, like, this makes 0 sense. Peyton Manning had the much better season. Like, in almost every metric, I think, had the much better season. 68%, what was Dante Culpepper at? 63, yeah, dude, objectively better season. I have no idea why that happened. Okay, that's weird. And then Randy Moss finished 3rd, so the Vikings got something going on. Sammy Morris is 5th, an offensive player. And I get it, dude. Like, again, Manning should probably win this. You know, Randy Moss as a receiver, you know, had a similar season than Sammy Morris, but different positions. Even Brian Greasy had himself a hell of a year, man. Like, a good year. So I get it, but still, I don't know. That's... I'm upset about that. I'm upset. That's the only thing I was really looking for in terms of awards. And maybe you guys want to see it here. Here's your defensive player. I'm not really looking at conference thing, but offensive rookie Trace Lewis, that receiver for the Texans, ended up having a pretty good year. Good for him. Yeah, none of our guys are going to be anywhere on here. Absolutely not. So it is what it is. That's just how it crumbles here. So, but now we're going to get into the offseason because it's going to be quite the loaded offseason, I think. I think it's going to be pretty difficult. So we're going to hop into it right now. Okay, so let's get through the retired players and see if hopefully we didn't lose too much. Howard Griffith, fullback for the Broncos, is gone. Tim Brown is calling it a career, so the Raiders are going to get just a little bit worse than they did last year. Bob Christian is gone, fullback for the Falcons. Larry Center signs with the Chargers for a year after we didn't really use him. He did a little bit with the Chargers, but he's out. He's retiring as well. Carnell Lake is also retiring, so the Jaguars defense might get a little bit worse, thank God. Emmitt Smith is gone, so the Cowboys have to figure something out at running back. Dion Primetime was still in the game. I didn't even realize Primetime was still in the game, but he's retiring now, so no more Deion Sanders. He's going to go be a dad and eventually a coach probably, right? Who knows? Ricky Waters also retires for the Seahawks. So that rushing attack getting a little worse here. Charles Johnson suffered a career-ending injury. I did not know that. So Charles Johnson's out for life. No more football. He's out. Bruce Smith is gone as well. Mark Carrier, Jackie Harris is gone. Ricky Proehl's gone. No more Ricky Proehl. Henry Jones is gone. Okay, so we do lose Henry Jones here. We figured as much. I think he regressed a lot too. Gee, 72. He was not that bad, I don't think, before that. Looking around here, Ben Coates is gone. Looking around, just seeing if there's any other big guys sticking out. I don't think there is. So it looks to be. We'll see if. Let's see here. Yeah, all okay. Oof, I'm struggling. Yeah, okay, so Henry Jones is all that we lose. Okay, that's about what I expected. I think I said at the beginning of last season, or in the last offseason video, that I probably expect him to retire. So that's where he's at. Now we're going to skip right on in to the re-signing phase. Hopefully we can keep a lot of the guys here. So Jamie Nails, we probably don't need to keep back. Yeah, here's Dilfer. So Dilfer actually regressed. I think he was, what, a 74? Right? Was he a 74? I think we can check that. Hold on. I think I can check that. There's a screen to check that here. Yeah, it's got to fetch him. Okay, so progress. Yeah, Dilfer did regress. He's down. He did regress. I didn't show this last year because I don't think we had a lot of huge change, but he did regress. So he's actually getting worse, and he's 30 now. Oh my God, St. Morrison did 88. Man, oh man, man alive. Michael Westbrook regressed a little bit. Nothing happened to Schroeder here. Remersma's the same. Fina regressed a little bit. Okay, so it looks like Walker did a little bit better here. Fred Spence up a little bit. Okay, these guys are growing. James Tasker up to an 80. Okay, Robert Hicks up to a 78. Talent Sawyer went up 1. He was a free agent. Eric Flowers is up 2 points. So the team is getting a little bit better, man. The team is getting better. But the important thing, I got distracted. The important thing is that Trent Dilfer is not getting better. So Trent Dilfer got worse. Well, let's see how much money he wants. So he wants $340. Not a chance. Not a chance. No way. I don't even care if we have to run with Achilles Smith. I don't care. No, absolutely not. Peerless Price, what's he want? $850? Yeah, absolutely. And I'm actually going to sign him probably long term because I think he's probably good to keep. See if he'll do it 4 years for $800. Extra cash. But you want a longer contract. Wow. So I think 4 years is pretty good for Peerless Price if you ask me. So Sammy Morris, man, look at that deal he was on. Oh, look at that. He was at $450. Okay. How much money? How much? Oh, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. We still have a lot of cap room. We have $20 million, and I don't think we're going to be hitting free agency nearly as hard this season. So I think we can afford to give Sammy Morris a lot of money. I'm going to try and get him down to 3 for 3 years. Will he take that? Heck yeah, he will. That's fine by me. I think $3 million a year for Sammy Morris, especially if he continues to do what he does, I think that's okay. No one else is really eligible here. I think we should probably re-sign Pigeon. Yeah, $500K. How about $450 for 3 years? Cool. Thanks. Now we have a punter. Okay. Yeah, I think everyone else is probably. Yeah, we're probably going to let all these guys go. We probably are going to be signing some guys for depth. You know, at a lot of these positions. You know what I mean? Especially if they're cheap. I mean, he's cheap. I'm going to go through and see like what these guys are like roster wise. I mean, obviously Leif Larson's not coming back, and Deshaun Polk's also not coming back, but. Some of these guys, because of roster requirements, we probably need to bring them back, but I'm going to look through and see if there's anyone that's even like worth, and then we'll just move on. So give me 1 second while I check that over. Okay, Mike Morton was the only other player on the roster that I think like we should. We had 3 middle linebackers, and like if I let them both go, so I just signed him just to have someone on there. But everyone else, like as a depth piece, I don't think is really all that important to keep around. So we're gonna move right on ahead into free agency here while the game releases everybody from the other 31 rosters. So now we're here in free agency, and I guess I'll come back when I have something here. We'll see if there's anything that catches our eye. Well, I guess I'll go over the top ones here with you guys real quick. We have Willie McGinnis here, a right end here, 9-year veteran here. He's looking, how much money does he want, man? Yeah, 360. Yeah, I don't know. You know, Aaron Gibson here is a left guard at an 85. That's some pretty good money too, man. 205. That's some good money. Someone probably needs him. I don't know how much line work we still need help with, because I think, you know, we've got that in the guard situation. But Tim Bowens, defensive tackle, it's huge. Oh, he wants a lot of money, man. That's going to be a bidding war too, if whoever gets into that. Brian Simmons is an enticing option here, 5-year veteran. He fits in our range here of what I want for this team, and he's not that expensive, so that might be something to look at. Johnny Morton is another enticing one. He's kind of older now. That's kind of out of the range here. Lorenzo Neal, we don't really need here, but he is cheap. I like how cheap he is. Victor Green is a strong safety. That's probably something we're going to need to look at. He's old, though. He's outside of my range here. He's a 10-year veteran, so I don't know. John Holchak, it's one of the trade, I think, yeah, one of the picks we sent to the Colts, but he's available now, so we could take him from the Colts. Aaron Glenn's here, but he wants kind of a lot of money for being an 81, so there's a lot of fun guys here. But I'm going to look around, and then if I get anyone, grab anyone, we'll show you guys the free agency at the end of this, so we'll get into it. Alright guys, not a very exciting free agent period whatsoever. I went around in every possible position that we could have maybe upgraded at. There was either some people that were too old or just not good enough to replace what we currently have. So it's a bad free agency year for us. Well, I'll go over some of the big signings and then I'll tell you guys what we grabbed. So, and the big thing about free agency that you're probably already thinking about or wondering about. But yes, so the Panthers get Willie McGinnis here. He's going all the way there. Aaron Gibson. Looks like Aaron Gibson. Is he returning to Lions? It doesn't. I wish it told the player teams, but judging by the picture here, I think. As a Lions fan, I should probably know this, but I was like, what, dude, like 5, 6 when this game came out? So, younger than that, 4 or 5 when this game came out. So, anyway, Tim Bowens goes to the Packers. Brian Simmons goes to the Niners. So it looks like a lot of the top free agents all going to the NFC. So the NFC is really trying to beef up right now. Johnny Morton, though, goes to the Titans here. That is a pretty good acquisition for them. We're already pretty loaded at receiver, and I think I'd have to move pieces around to bring Johnny Morton. That's why I didn't really want him there. And I kind of want to get younger at receiver. I don't really want someone like Johnny Morton that old to be on the roster. Lorenzo Neal's going to the Falcons here. Yeah, we grabbed Victor Green. So Victor Green was a huge upgrade since we now lost Henry Jones here. We just pretty much replaced with another veteran here. Again, didn't want to go that old, but the only other option I think was like a 78 overall, and they were about the same amount of money. So I'm like, I could try and stick to the year gap that I'm trying to go for here, but it would just be bad money, like just bad business at that point. So I just decided to go for Victor Green. This is a long-term deal, I think, too. I think it's 4 years. 3 or 4 seasons, so we're probably going to have him, or I think it's 2 years, so it might take him to the end of his career regardless, so he might retire with us. John Holchak goes to the Chargers, so that's kind of huge for the AFC West. Aaron Glenn, I was in a bidding war with Aaron Glenn. I just wanted Aaron Glenn, as a Lions fan, I wanted Aaron Glenn on our team here, and he actually would help us out in our cornerback room. Our cornerback room is not very deep at all outside of Antoine Winfield, so I kind of wanted him on the roster, but I got in a bidding war with the Eagles, and that salary, that cap hit, ended up getting over $4 million. I'm like, I'm not dedicating $4 million to an 81 overall cornerback. Like, it's not happening. So Joe Johnson goes to the Patriots. Wayne Chrebet leaves our conference and goes to the Giants here. He stays in New York, but just changes locker rooms, I guess. I don't know. It's the same locker room, so I guess he just stays put where he's at. He's just going to the Giants. Devon Darius goes to the Cardinals here. That was the other option I was looking at. But yeah, at 170 versus 185. I think, which will be paid for Victor Green, so that's the difference. Oronde Gadsden leaving Miami and heading up to Charlotte to play for the Panthers. I looked at Oronde Gadsden. I actually kind of was interested in him as well, taken from the Dolphins. It'd be great to have him, keep him in the division, keep him on our team. I thought that'd be smart, but I decided to, again, same problems with the receiving core, so we're going to have to figure something out with our receiving core anyway. Sam Shade was another option I'd like looking at, but again, same money, a little bit less than both. A little bit, but less money here than Devon Darius. Just a little bit worse than Devon Darius and Victor Green. So Jason Peter ends up going to the Texans. Christian Peter ends up going to the Chiefs. But yeah, that's pretty much how everything stacks up in free agency. Now, quarterbacks. The best quarterback in free agency was Trent Dilfer, which I was afraid was going to happen, but that's what happened. Trent Dilfer is the best quarterback in free agency. Ends up signing for $340, which, again, I was never going to give Trent Dilfer that money, ever. I'd rather struggle with Achilles Smith at his cap hit than Trent Dilfer at $340. Absolutely not happening. And then Rob Johnson, again, a contract that we traded because it was that horrendous, we could not do it. I refused. He was one of the first moves that we made when we took over the Bills. He's still making that much money, and now the Bears are picking up that tab. So good luck for you guys, but no. Shane Matthews ends up going to Pittsburgh. I thought about maybe Shane Matthews, but again, another guy I just do not want to pay over like that much money, a 9-year veteran who's probably not going to help us. We'll just stick with Achilles Smith, you know what I mean? And then you see it's a steep fall off after this. So yeah, not really anything doing with quarterbacks, so we're going to have to figure something out here. But now it is time for the draft, and we have a lot of middle of the draft picks, so we'll see if I can cook something up. We're probably going to be drafting for a lot of positional needs and seeing if we can, of course, get a quarterback. So I will chime back in here once we have a completed draft. Okay, so here is the results of our draft, okay? And we did address quarterback. So 72 overall, which is, I think, in terms of developing, I think is fine. Like, I think this is good. If Trent Dilfer wanted over $3 million out of 73 overall, I think a 72 overall, which is going to be cheaper, definitely cheaper. We'll see if we can get that down a little bit, offer a lot of years. Short term, oh man, they don't want to be here for a while. Far apart in the length? 3 years? Okay, cool. All right, so now we got our quarterback. I just wanted to sign that before we continued on talking about the rest of the class here. But yes, we did get a quarterback out of Georgia Tech here, and he should be our new project moving forward. There's also 75 overall left guard sitting there, and I know we already drafted one last season, but I was thinking potentially we could have a nice little boost here at the interior, because I think Von Carter immediately is probably a little bit better than who we drafted last year. So, because I think he's up to a 74, I think it's Tasker up to a 74, but so this might be an immediate upgrade, or there just might be some rotational depth on the offensive line here. He might develop a little bit better, who knows? So I grabbed him. And then Rock Rice, I don't think we immediately need right now, but I think he's the second or third defensive tackle on the team now, like immediately as a 72. So these top three guys I definitely sought out and wanted desperately, like really badly. And then this fullback was just kind of sitting there. The draft was loaded with fullbacks and tight ends this year for some reason, neither of which we really needed. But, I mean, we could use an upgrade at fullback since, obviously, we lost Larry Centers a couple seasons ago, who was a 92. You know, I'm like, I guess we could, replace him. And Cliff Gross didn't really do much of anything last year, and we don't really use our fullbacks all that much. So that's why I didn't really worry about the position all that much. But, hey, if the game's going to give us an 89 overall fullback just in our lap, I'll take it. And then everyone else is pretty much just some depth filler, essentially. That's really all anyone is. These guys I just drafted because we had to. I had so many picks from all the trades, which we probably aren't going to be making a ton. We're going to be making contender trades this year. If I make any trades this season, it's going to be to make the team better, not because I'm trying to sell stuff. Like, I think we're in a good spot, like money-wise, that we can start actually taking on some good players. So I'm going to go through and sign these guys real quick, and then we should be able to hop into to the depth chart and all that stuff. Okay, so everybody is now officially signed here. Of course, you saw the deal that we gave to Raymond Winfield. I also grabbed Von Carter out of Michigan. Oh, God, Michigan. Ugh, gross. I'm from Michigan, by the way. That's I'm an Ohio State fan, but my pros teams are all Detroit teams. I just don't worry about it. Just don't ask questions. Don't worry about it. And then we have Rock Rice, who we grabbed out of Ball State. Oh, Mac product. I guess we were just really big in the Midwest. I guess for some reason we were really just big out of the Midwest, except for Winfield. He's out of Georgia Tech. But and then of course we got Earl Walker out of Oregon. He's going to be coming to the team as well. I grabbed O.J. Miller because I saw that the middle linebacking depth that we had. Another guy from Michigan, from not Michigan but Michigan State. Interesting. But the depth that we had at middle linebacker was basically non-existent. So I signed someone just to have someone back there, and this guy O.J. Miller is better than he is. So just give us something there at linebacker, I guess. Some options. I also grabbed Lester Nichols because we do need 3 quarterbacks on roster, and I don't really want Nichols, but again, we need 3 quarterbacks on roster, so now we have that. And then I also grabbed Ross Thompson, the receiver that we drafted. His speed is decent. He's out of West Virginia, and I told you guys in the free agent screen that we're going to have to figure something out with receiver, because I think we're loaded there. We don't have a ton of talent, and there's not a lot of guys like long-term that I really want to keep. So I'm going to be looking to make some moves and see if I can grab like an actual, like, legit receiver, like someone to offset Eric Moulds, dude, because I like Westbrook, but he even regressed after last year, and, like, you know, at like 70, like 2-3, like that's not really going to work. So, or 77, I think, 76, 77. It's just not going to work. We need someone who's over the 80 threshold, and I don't think Ross Thompson's going to be that, but I think we'll be able to make some moves with Ross Thompson now. We'll keep him as some youth on the team, and then we'll move around some other guys like Peerless Price and stuff, and McDaniel and stuff like that, and see what we can do. See if we can cook something up with that. So, but that is going to be how the draft picks work here. So now we're going to go to reorder the depth charts. Last year I kind of skipped over this because I wanted to make some deals before we did that. I needed to fix some stuff on the roster, but this year we should be able to look into it, and then I'll show you guys any trade acquisitions with position groups that I make, because all the trades I'm going to be doing are going to be pointed at specific parts of the roster. I'm not going to overhaul a lot of parts of the team. We're just going to be focusing strictly on either receiving group or, you know, some other position group. So Raymond Winfield is going to start for us. Number one, we're in the number one. He's going to start first at quarterback here. Of course, we still have Achilles Smith for a couple seasons behind him, and then Lester Nichols will be third-string quarterback. Sammy Morris up to an 88 is going to be our starting running back here, with still Travis Henry and Sean Bryson behind him. Fullback now we have Earl Walker starting for us with Cliff Gross behind him. Receiver Eric Moulds, Michael Westbrook at 78, Bill Schroeder at 76, Peerless Price here at 71, Jeremy McDaniel at 70, Ross Thompson at 68. And that's where it's going to cut off. So we might be needing to make some moves here with McDaniel or Price, see what we can do, if anything. Tight end, we have Jay Remersma still here with Bobby Collins behind him. John Fina is still going to start at left tackle for us. At left guard, Cortez Walker's up to a 79. And then, of course, we have Von Carter behind him. And then even Donald Willis. So probably not Von Carter since we just drafted him, but I'm pretty sure Donald Willis, he might be moving somewhere. We aren't even using him. I signed him at a free agency because I didn't think we'd be able to upgrade the offensive line through the draft, but I have been able to, so he'll probably be getting moved for something. And then Fred Spence is going to start at center for us. And there you see down below the options that we have to slot some guys out. So I was maybe trying to see if there was a better option here with the offensive line that we could shift around, but it doesn't seem like it. So James Tasker is going to be our starting right guard, and then Robert Hicks is our starting right tackle. But there are some other options, so if we have to rotate pieces out, we will be doing that. Talent Sawyer going to start at an 80 overall on the left side defensively, and then Eric Flowers on the right side, both at 80 overall. So pass rush should be at least decent. Shevin Jackson up to an 80 here, and then we have Rock Rice, who we just drafted, up to a 72, but he's not going to start over Pat Williams, obviously. So I've got to flip them around, and yeah, Rock Rice is going to be third, and then it's going to fall off after that. But there's some depth here at defensive tackle, so I'm okay with it. Sam Coates going to be the left outside linebacker. Jamie Duncan's going to be up the middle, and then Keith Newman's going to be on the right side. Cornerback is still Antoine Winfield, and Nate Clements up to a 77 here. Terry Cousin down to 71. Chris Watson 69. So DB needs to get a little bit better. That's why I wanted Aaron Glenn, but for that money, I didn't want to do it. Keon Carpenter is still here at free safety at 78, and of course Victor Green's going to be near strong safety at 82. The only place we really ever got really that much better at was at strong safety with Victor Green. So Steve Christie still at a 70. I can't believe that he hasn't like grown a lot, but anyway, either way. So that's going to be the roster as it were, and now we're going to continue into the next season, see if we can do some quick trades here, and then look at the schedule. Okay, real quick, I'll chime in here. I got to deal with McDaniel here going to the Falcons. The Falcons have a pretty bad receiving core. They don't really need McDaniel that much, but he's only got a year left on the deal, and it's a very team-friendly deal, so I'm just going to see if I can offload him for something. The Falcons are willing to give me a fourth-round pick for him. Again, I don't really need the fourth-rounder, but I'm trying to make space in the receiving core. Maybe we can make a bigger splash. So we're going to take this deal here, send him over to the Falcons, and bada bing, bada boom. It is done. So now I'm going to see if I can cook up a better deal here with all of our draft picks that we have, and get us a better receiver. Okay, guys, I've cooked something up here, okay? Let me cook a little bit, okay? So, the Rams have Azir Hakim on their roster. He's kind of buried behind Torrey Holt and Isaac Bruce, who are both on 1 year, so they're going to have something to figure out at receiver, but we're going to swoop in and give them some picks. Maybe that will help them out here. Azir Hakim, again, kind of buried on the depth chart here. He's been doing pretty much what everyone on our roster has been doing, receiver-wise, but he would be an immediate receiver 2 on our team right now. So There's a lot of picks to mortgage here, but I think if we get Azir Hakim, we could probably make even more moves and get some of those picks back in other subsequent trades. So I'm going to make this move here and grab Azir Hakim. He's on a very team-friendly deal for the next couple of seasons. I think this is a no-brainer, man. This is an absolute no-brainer. There's very few teams that even have the depth at receiver to make trades like this, so I had to look like very far to find this deal. So we're going to make this move for Azir Hakim. Big splash. See if we can do it. Boom. Bada bing, bada bing. Look at that. Receiver 1 and 2 now. Look at that. And it didn't dip too much into the money. We still have some good cap room left to work with. So now I'm going to see if I can make another move. Probably try to move off of Michael Westbrook because he's making a lot of money and he's not that good. So we'll see what we can do with that. And just like that, the Vikings, they have nobody else after Randy Moss, and they're willing to give us our second-round pick back, in air quotes, for Westbrook. So we're absolutely going to take that, get that money off of the books, and get a second-round pick back. I don't worry too much about the draft moving forward, because I don't think we're going to need a whole lot that we can get from the draft immediately. We might be a free agency team moving forward. But I at least want to get our first couple rounds. I'd like to at least have a first and second. Outside of that, it doesn't really matter to me. Yeah, first and second, we should be able to work with that. So I think we're in a little bit better of a spot here now. I think that's pretty much anything, or actually, yeah, we're going to make a move here. We're going to see if we can get rid of Donald Willis, get some value for him, maybe get a second or a third. Hey, the Chiefs are willing to give a fourth and a fifth for him? Don't need it, but hey, man, something is better than nothing, right? So we'll take a fourth and a fifth. And now we have kind of an abundance of picks here, so I don't know if there's a lot I could cook up with this, but I'll look around. Give me a second here. Okay, so I'm basically at a crossroads in terms of trading. There are a couple deals I could move. They might be deadline type of deals to make, but there's a couple moves I guess I could do to try to get a little bit better at certain positions, but like I'm also like, well, with the draft, like we probably could just draft those guys anyway, you know what I mean, and just like have them ourselves, maybe, you know, because the draft is easy, so like with a first and second round pick, you could probably get like 2 really good players that you need right now, you know, so that's where I'm stuck right now. There's a deal with the Seahawks that I had cooking up here, but I don't know. So I'll wait on it. I'll give it a couple weeks, see where the team is at by the deadline here in week 6, and then we'll consider it then. So now we're going to look at the schedule, and then we're going to hop on out of here. So we start things off with the Saints at home. Then we have a 2-game road trip to Baltimore and Miami with the Ravens and Dolphins. For heading home to welcome the Patriots and the Raiders. I think it's our first time playing the Raiders in the series. Then we're on the road in Charlotte to play the Panthers. Then we have the Buccaneers at home. Then we're in Arrowhead and in Qualcomm to play the Chiefs and the Chargers. We have the Jags at home. And then we have the Jets on the road. The Broncos at home with the Jets again. So again, we're playing the Jets almost back-to-back weeks for the second straight year. Then we have the second game against the Dolphins here at home. Then we were in the Georgia Dome playing the Falcons. And then we were on the road to finish the season, 2 weeks here. So we have the Falcons. And then, of course, we have, this is a Saturday game, funny enough. And then we have the Patriots, of course, in New England that we're going to end the year off. So we play the Patriots at the beginning of the year and then at the very end. Kind of funny. So not a very fun schedule, I don't think, as much. Not a lot of games that jump out at me that seem like fun, but it's okay. We're going to watch them all again because it's actually going by a lot quicker than I thought it would. So we're already in year number 3. So, but when we come back, man, it's going to be football time, baby. It's going to be time with the Saints here. And the team, again, looking a little bit better. We were 81 last year, now we're up to 86. We're getting increasingly better here, but there's still parts of the team that need to get better. It's going to be a development year for our quarterback Winfield, so that's just something to keep an eye on. Something we're going to have to kind of be patient with. So hopefully things work out for us here, and we have a successful year 3. I don't know if playoffs is the mark to make it back this year. We probably shouldn't have been in it last year, so I'm not going to say that playoffs is going to be the mark here, but again, like 7 or 8 wins. You know what I mean? Like that should be I think the mark that we should be able to hit. So another 500 or so season. Maybe fans will get tired of all the mid-range stuff, but we're developing, man. We're still building here, okay? This team should be a lot worse, and we're actually a little bit better. So we'll see you guys in the next one here when we have the Saints. I'm going to tell you this time, the Saints and the Ravens. The Saints and the Ravens. So we will see you then.